Hello, everybody. It's 7:30, so let's get this started so we don't stay here till midnight. I'm Paul Kiefer, I'm president of the board. Welcome to candidates night. The candidates will each have 3 minutes to speak. They'll each be given a 3-minute, like I said, speech, up to 3 minutes. Please hold any applause until the end of their speeches so that you don't interrupt their time. Because Ron Guggenheim is the official timer tonight. Wave to the crowd. And he'll start the timer when the candidate starts to speak. So that's it. Let's get started. Number 1 is Sean Yuen. So let's welcome Sean. And there we go.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Sean Ewan. I live in 299 Pearl Street, and I've been a resident of Southbridge for a long time before privatization. And I plan to live there for a while, a lot longer. And I'm trained as an engineer and an attorney. And I think that my training will provide me the necessary know-how to do checks and balances between our needs, our benefits and costs, and the needs of our community. My goal is to keep our maintenance low and affordable while making the necessary repairs and improvements to our property. I want to allocate our resources wisely among our needs and the upcoming projects, because I don't think that we have a limitless supply of funds. And in order to do that, I would encourage competitive bidding for projects that's upcoming. Have different companies come in, submit their proposals, weigh the benefits and costs of each, and then choose wisely to see what's best for our community. I would listen to the needs of our shareholders. I don't want to shut anyone out. If you have any questions or needs or concerns, I would also like to keep our shareholders informed about any prospective projects or spending that's coming up. And in order for us to do that, I would encourage open meetings and have shareholders attend these meetings to see what we are proposing. And the bottom line, I would say, is that I would want transparency to let shareholders know what's upcoming, what we're considering, and what you guys want from us as a board. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sean. I forgot to mention that when you get like within 15 seconds of your time, Ron will give you a high sign, just so you know. Okay, number 2, Louis Gonzalo, please.
Thank God I have a lot of family here. I'm an old-time resident here at Southbridge Towers. I lived here for almost 50 years. There have been 4 generations of Gonsalvos living here. At one time, I think we could have swayed an election. We had so many of us here. Anyway, this is a great place to live. I was fortunate to be here. I was fortunate my children are here. And I hope my grandchildren will grow up here and stay here for some time. It took me 50 years to get to the podium here and put in my bid to become a board member. I got a different idea about what a board member should be, and maybe that's why I'm here. Being elected a board member to me means that each of us here is volunteering our time. We're donating our time and sharing our individual expertise to improve the quality of life for all of us. Not just for me, my family, for all of us. We're all shareholders, each and every one of us. And I think everyone here has basically the same goals and desires to reach. What do we really want? We want to reduce maintenance costs, we want to have transparency, and we want open meetings where residents can come in and speak freely and have a voice as to what's going on and know what's going on. There were many times that I really didn't know what was going on here. Maybe I was working too hard or I wasn't here, but we should all know what's going on, that this is all of our money. And we all have a say in it. That was not always possible at Southbridge Towers. I remember a few years ago I attended a meeting right here in this room. I had a concern I wanted to tell the board about. And I sat here for about an hour, and I waited and waited. I was waiting for my turn to come, and finally I raised my hand to speak. And I was told, this is not a meeting for residents. This is a meeting for the management office and the board. Well, that's not an open meeting. I wouldn't have came down. I wouldn't have wasted my time. I never got to say what was on my mind. Being a shareholder, I got the same rights as everybody else, as all the members here. You own the same amount of property here. So, I was very disappointed with that. In my opinion, the board members work for you. They work for you. Not for us individually, but for you. They should take the time to hear your concerns. And they must make themselves available, and I will make myself available. My entire career has been in the public and private sector in procurement. And just like all procurement professionals, I'm over?
50 seconds.
Just like all procurement professionals, board members need to be fair and reasonable when working with the residents. My procurement experience has been in, as I said, the public and private sector. Southbridge Towers is planning for a considerable amount of updating and repairs in the near future. I believe that I can assist in our success in preparing bid specifications, develop competitive bidding solicitations, and resulting in contracts that will minimize required change orders. The issuance of change orders is what usually brings expenditures over budget. I believe my procurement experience will help to reduce costs, and this is why I'm asking for your vote. I'm asking for your vote for myself, Sean, and John. We're on the ticket of 1, 2, and 6. Thank you.
Give him a little extra time because of the song and dance. Okay, number 3 is Warren Green. Warren.
I am seeking a vote in the coming election so that I may continue to bring an independent voice, integrity, legal expertise, and financial background, along with a willingness to work on behalf of all of us as a member of the Board of Directors. During my tenure, I was the principal architect behind the first refinancing of our mortgage, which had the effect of saving us approximately $50,000 per month in mortgage expenses and helped to put us on a firmer footing. I also brought information to the board about the NYSERDA loan of $5 million, which paid for the new windows. My legal degree and my extensive experience in the finance industry enabled me to assist management in collecting real estate taxes from a commercial tenant. Although there are 2 distinct factions on the board, I am totally independent, and I view each decision independently, regardless of which faction wants a particular result. We are a cooperative with more than 1,600 families. When Southbridge left the Mitchell program, the number of directors was reduced from 15 members to 9 members. The result is that 5 board members effectively control board decisions, which affects all of us. The rationale for reducing the number of board members was that most co-ops have only 9 members. That is true, except that most co-ops don't have more than 1,600 families in them. We ought to increase the membership of the board back to 15. Through my efforts, Southbridge Towers shareholders are able to create a transfer on death beneficiary designation for their shares of Southbridge Towers, similar to a bank account that has a named beneficiary, although final approval of the beneficiary is subject to review by the board of directors. This would make the transfer of shares when the time comes without going through the probate process. Southbridge Towers is still in transition from a Mitchell cooperative to a market rate co-op. We have many long-term projects facing the co-op over the next several years, from painting or renovating the hallways to replacing the elevators. Before doing any of these projects, I believe that we need to get a better handle on our cash flow and how best to use the money we have in the bank in order to protect the interests of all shareholders. My goal is to keep maintenance as low as possible while at the same time improving the complex in a careful, systematic manner without jeopardizing our financial stability. A complex such as ours can burn through our cash reserves rather quickly. I believe that we ought to ensure that we have enough reserves for the real estate taxes as those taxes come due. That's why we decided to assign a substantial flip tax for a first-time sale. While we've done very well so far in creating reserves, we need to be extremely careful in how we spend those reserves. I would like it to see our expenses decrease instead of increase, although this may be unrealistic in the long term. Expenses must be kept under tight controls. We may be able to keep maintenance charges down by having a comprehensive review of our purchasing process. We will either be able to reduce our expenses or at least learn that we are cost effective in our expenditures. I thank you for your support in the past and ask for it again when you vote in the election.
Thank you, Warren. Number 4, Ryan Mercier.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming out to show your support tonight, to listen and to learn more about each of us before casting your vote. My wonderful partner Corey and I are truly blessed to have found Southbridge. When we purchased our new forever home, we were immediately welcomed by all of our neighbors, many of whom are here today. We had never experienced this amazing sense of community anywhere else. I am running for the board to protect everything we love about this vibrant community. My father was a firefighter. My mother worked in a hospital. They taught me the value of hard work and made many sacrifices so that my siblings and I could attend the best schools. My first job in high school and throughout college was working with seniors. I have both a bachelor's and a master's degree in finance. I previously worked in banking for over 9 years, advising CEOs and CFOs of major public corporations, before following in my family's footsteps of public service and joining the FBI as a special agent. Today I work for a major technology company called LinkedIn. I have served on other co-op boards and will bring those learnings from those boards to Southbridge. I am active in the fight against the overdevelopment of 250 Water Street and am dedicated to protecting and saving our seaport. I am the only candidate up here with a finance background and believe it is essential that we elect professionals who will look at every dollar spent and keep our maintenance low. I am running for the board with Linda Roche and Adam Sinofsky. I came to know them through various board and committee meetings, which we all attend on a regular basis. We do not hold any grudges or have any old scores to settle. We will do everything in our power to keep your maintenance low. We will be transparent. We will make sure board meetings are published well in advance, not only in the buildings, but also via email and online, so that all of the working families of Southbridge are aware of current issues. We will also have annual online satisfaction surveys so that each shareholder has a voice. Major decisions will not be made without community input. Finally, we will continue to foster and nurture this community and pledge to be an effective team who will work together to further your interest and build the Southbridge of the future. Let's not go backwards, but continue progress forward and build a better, stronger Southbridge community together. Please elect numbers 4, 7, and 9 for Ryan, Linda, and Adam. We are a team of leaders who will work with you to build a better, stronger community together. Thank you for your support.
Thank you, Ryan. We're up to number 5, Betsy Neville Scheinhorst.
Hello. I just want to take a moment to thank you for supporting me as your board member, allowing me to serve you and working with me to create a community that is safe, prosperous, and a happy place that is our home. Those who know me and have worked with me know that I always put Southbridge and our neighbors first. At the core of everything I stand for is the goal of keeping costs down and listening to what our residents need to make life better here. I stand before you tonight and pledge to continue that good work if given your trust in this coming election. The Southbridge Board has always depended on me to find savings for us wherever I could. As the chairperson of the Billing Review Committee, we would meet every 3 weeks, checking every maintenance bill to understand how our money was being spent. We worked tirelessly to save tens of thousands of dollars annually on everyday expenses. Whether it was the $80,000 in annual savings by hiring our own painter, or the $50,000 we saved on air conditioning covers, my willingness to ask the tough questions helps us save money and create long-term solutions. When we learned about what Howard Hughes is planning at 250 Water Street, I walked the neighborhood, meeting every retailer. I went to surrounding apartment buildings to gather support. None of these people had any idea what Howard Hughes was planning. Now they want to be involved. Since privatization, I have been both a member and a chair of the new shareholder application committee. I've had the privilege of meeting every new applicant. Everyone I've met comments on how much they love the feeling they get from our community. So let's keep making it stronger. As I mentioned, one of the things I really enjoy is listening and being responsive to our neighbors' concerns, neighbors like Carolyn Coffey, who wanted to improve our playgrounds. I worked with the committee to solve that challenge and make those improvements a reality for the children. I'll continue to support the senior center activities and look forward to an organized effort and more events for families with children. This is the type of community I envision here. During the campaign, I've heard it said that this current board has lost its way, that we somehow have forgotten how expensive this city is. Well, that's just not true. And I can tell you, this board has never, I have never, spent money without looking to save money from every possible angle. Doing anything different would go against the oath I took to serve you and against common sense. I fought tirelessly for you. I vowed to keep working to control costs, support needed projects, and to make smart business decisions because, frankly, your backyard is my backyard. We live here in this community together. Please vote for me on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Betsy. Number 6, John Ost.
Good evening, friends and neighbors. It's so nice to see so many of you here this evening. For those who don't know me, my name is John Ost. I'm candidate number 6 on the ballot. I've lived in Southbridge for some 25 years and raised my daughter here. She has certainly made me proud, and I'm sure she would make any parent proud. She moved out. As I stated in my resume, I was an early supporter of leaving Mitchell-Lama and becoming an independent private housing cooperative. The reason I did that is because I had reviewed the numbers and they looked good. And we are doing well, meeting our financial obligations and creating sizable reserve funds. However, I do believe that we will face continuing challenges at Southbridge in the years ahead, despite our present budget surplus. I'm thinking of Penn South, which is not actually a Mitchell-Lama. It's what they call a redevelopment company, which is similar to a Mitchell-Lama. They had to do a major capital repair. In order to do that major capital repair, they had a huge assessment and a huge maintenance increase. It was a very expensive repair. I don't want to see that happen at Southbridge. If we spend our money carefully, we should be fine. Fortunately, we have done much to maintain our aging development. We replaced our windows and hallways, floors. We redid our roofs. We upgraded our lobbies, play areas, and community rooms. We presently collect rent from all of our commercial properties. On the downside, costs do continue to creep up. Energy costs tend to increase over time. We now pay more for security, and our wonderful staff, I saw Angie here, get their more than entitled maintenance increases when they come up, and they do a fine job, so we just have to take care of them. The city often talks about raising our taxes, raising our other fees, water, sewers, whatever, okay? It's a constant thing we have to watch. I am running because I feel, more than the fact that I have a master's in business administration, I feel that my past experience on the board will enable me to monitor our expenses and serve to prevent the worst-case scenario, which, in my opinion, is a maintenance increase on all of us, many of whom have lived here, may not be able to afford it, or may suffer paying it. And I feel personally responsible because of the fact that I thought leaving Mitchell-on would be the best thing for all of us. So please vote for me and vote for my running mates. We're running as a team. Sean Ewan, number 1, Louis Consalvo, number 2, and myself, number 6. And we're all on the same page. That's why we're running as a team. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Number 7, Linda Roche.
Don't stop yet. I just wanted to take this opportunity to thank everybody for showing up tonight. It's great. So, good evening. My name is Linda Roche. By way of introduction, I've been a Southbridge resident in good standing for 41 years. I previously served on the board from 2000-2003 and chaired the Elevator Rehabilitation Committee. I am an active member of the newly organized Seaport Planning and Preservation Committee, Buildings and Grounds, Landscaping, and the 50th SBT Anniversary Committees. I am a supporter of Save Our Seaport and the Seaport Museum, and I served on Community Board 1 for 12 years, from 1996 to 2008. I raised my son Michael here. As some of you may know, Michael has owned a real estate company for 15 years. His company does business throughout New York City and parts of Westchester County. I do not work in real estate. However, if elected, I will still pledge to recuse myself from any discussion or vote in real estate issues to avoid the appearance of impropriety. I know that's an issue for people. So for anyone in the audience who has been asked to ask me about real estate, I'll be happy to give you further detail. I work part-time for a small technology company as Director of Human Resources, and that supplements my income. I believe in giving people information, good or bad. And I realize no one wants to see our maintenance go up, but it will. It's the bad news. A legacy from our previous boards. The reality is we haven't had one since 2014. After privatization in 2015, shareholders who were paying a surcharge had their maintenance reduced. They will probably not be affected by an increase as much as shareholders on a fixed income. I pledge to do everything in my power to protect those shareholders who simply cannot afford any increase. To that end, I would propose the board consider looking at the substitute SCREE and DREE programs, whereby shareholders could qualify and benefit from a reduction of their carrying charges, and that money would be repayable to Southbridge only upon the sale or transfer of shares by the shareholder. I will not vote for any maintenance increase unless the board agrees to review every line item expense to find savings. I believe this is the least the board can do to prove that they are being conservative with their spending. I would like to increase board and committee attendance by sending out posting notifications well in advance of meetings, and I believe all shareholders should be allowed to attend any Southbridge meeting held in the community board. Only registered committee members are allowed to vote, but everyone should have a voice at committee meetings, and they should be in the discussion. Although I would also allow the opportunity to discuss any issue at the open board meeting, whether it pertains to a motion on the floor or not. In fact, model ourselves like Community Board 1 and have a sign-in sheet for issues to be raised prior to the beginning of a full board meeting. Hopefully, all of this will encourage more participation by shareholders. As a shareholder for many years, I want to offer my experience to guide Southbridge towards being a fiscally responsible corporation. In closing, I would ask that you vote for me, myself, Ryan, Adam, and no matter who you choose, please remember that your vote is your voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, we're up to number 8, Bridget Shuey.
Good evening, neighbors. As many of you know, I've been part of this community since my family moved here in 1990. Actually, my family moved here in 1974. I bought my own apartment in 1994, and I've been active in the community for a very long time. In the past years, when I stood here before you, I told you that I believed in transparency and that I endorsed the plan to designate the revenue from our flip taxes for the sole use of real estate tax payments. Today, I still feel the same way. Low maintenance costs and an affordable quality of life are very important and personal concerns of mine. Please keep in mind that my Southbridge apartment is the only home that I own. From the beginning, I was an early supporter of privatization. Since privatization, sales at Southbridge have been robust, and I do believe that shareholders deserve a say in large, non-essential Southbridge expenditures. For those of you who don't know, I have a son who attended public schools in this district for 10 years. We are both crew members and members of the South Street Seaport Museum. As a direct result of my years of involvement with the museum, I became a member of Save Our Seaport. Because of my enthusiasm and support for the community, I was nominated to the Save Our Seaport Steering Committee, and I served on that steering committee for a little more than 2 years. During that time, I helped organize and spoke at town hall meetings, including the public forum that was held at the Spruce Street School in November of 2014. That forum brought out local politicians and rallied against the development of a mixed-use tower next to the Brooklyn Bridge. That tower was not built. Currently, I'm a dues-paying member of Save Our Seaport in good standing and strongly support Save Our Seaport along with Southbridge's board's efforts against Howard Hughes' development of the brownfield site at 250 Water Street. Over the years, I've attended and testified on behalf of this community at many Community Board 1 meetings. I'm on the Southbridge Commercial Tenant and Technology Committees. I also belong to the Old Seaport Alliance, a group dedicated to honoring the spirit of the Old Seaport. In 2016, I was a co-chair of the Old Seaport Alliance benefit that was held aboard the South Street Seaport Museum's flagship, Wavertree. My years of community service demonstrate that I'm a vested stakeholder committed to this community. Because of my real estate business expertise, I do believe that I have a lot to offer the Southbridge community and that I can do it in a way that would benefit every shareholder I represent. Southbridge has been my home for a long time. I have a responsibility to make sure that our residents and neighbors benefit whenever possible. Having someone on the board like me could help protect everyone and keep our maintenance charges low. Please remember to vote, and I hope to see you around the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, last but not least, number 9, Adam Sinofsky.
Hello, everyone. You made it through 8 of us so far. You got just 3 minutes and an hour of QA, and you're good to go home. I like to think they saved the best for last. I'm here tonight to ask for your most precious resource, your trust. For those who don't know me, my name is Adam Sinofsky. My wife Jenny and I have lived in Southbridge for 2 years. Since day one, we have loved living in this amazing community. So much so, we immediately got involved in several committees. You may ask, who is this guy crazy enough to run for the board so soon, and does he know what he's getting himself into? So let me tell you my life story. I grew up in Mahopac, New York, the son of a civil servant and a homemaker with a strange addiction to cat crafts. Weekends were often spent visiting my grandmother in Co-op City. I attended Cornell University, where I double majored in engineering. After graduating, I've spent the majority of my career as a data scientist, where I basically spend a lot of time extracting knowledge and insights from large amounts of data to grow revenue, reduce costs, and make strategic decisions. Basically, I tell Fortune 500 companies how to do more with less. Every financial decision the board makes needs to answer the following questions. What does it do to help shareholders? What will it cost us? What will it do to our reserves? Does it increase revenue? And does it save us money in the long term? This is why I want to join the board. We need to roll out a transparent 5-year budget that we adhere to based on the RAND report and the improvements that shareholders want. By transparent, I mean the full details about revenue, expenses, and the rationale for those expenses are out in the open for all of us to see and understand in the simplest terms. The main reason my family invested in Southbridge was the low maintenance, and I plan to do everything I can to keep it low. While every candidate has promised to keep costs low, my attention to detail, analytical background, and professional expertise will allow me to deliver on that promise. To gather data on your needs and what we need to improve. This is something we can do for free and will allow us to better serve everyone. I'm optimistic the next 15 years will be even brighter than our first 50 years. I'm asking for your support. Please vote for the team of Ryan, Linda, and Adam. Also by our more popular names 4, 7, and 9. While those numbers aren't guaranteed to win pick 3, I guarantee we'll show up and we will work hard for you. Thank you.